Children, let's move on to start solving sums which are based on solving quadratic equation by method of combining squares. Let's see what is the first one trying to say. The first one says x square plus 5x minus 2 equals to 0, and we need to solve this by method of completing square. Mind you, we are into the topic of solving quadratic equation by method of completing the square. So I hope my students are very well versed with the steps. Once again, I would like to reiterate. Step number 1, always shift the constant on the right hand side. Step number 2, divide throughout by coefficient of x square. 3, find out the last term. How that can be found out? Last term is half into coefficient of x, the whole square. 4th, add that last term on both the sides of equation. On adding that, LHS will be a perfect square. Step number 6, taking square root on both the sides. Finally, get the value of x in the solution set. Let's follow orderly. Step number 1, shift order-wise. Shift the constant on the RHS. So, x square, I'm just writing my solution first. X square minus 5x minus 2 equals to 0. X square plus 5x. Shift the constant on the RHS. Since here it is minus 2, over there it becomes plus 2. Sir, what if here it is plus 2? Going over there it will become minus 2. Very simple math. So step number 1 is done. Always shift the constant on the RHS. Step number 2, divide throughout by coefficient of x square. Now children, you are wondering, there is no coefficient of x square. So when there is no coefficient of x square, that means it's 1. Right? In such cases where the coefficient of x square is 1, we can ignore that step. Once again children, step number 1, divide throughout, step number 1, shift the constant on the RHS. Step number 2, divide throughout by coefficient of x square. But if the coefficient of x square or m square, whatever the variable it will be, if it is 1, then we will ignore this step number 2. So we will ignore step number 2, divide throughout by coefficient of x square. Why, sir? Because on dividing by 1, again I'm going to get the same answer. That's the reason we ignore. Are you getting me? So step number 3 directly. Find the last term. Find the last term, and how that can be found out? Last term is equals to half into coefficient of x the whole square. Half into coefficient of x the whole square. So what is that last term? Let me write down in a short way. Last term LT is half into coefficient of x. Now what is coefficient of x? It is plus 5, mind you. Had this been minus 5, I would have written here minus 5. Mind you, we have to take the sign into account. Here it is plus 5. I'm going to write down plus 5. If it were to be minus 5, I would have written minus 5. Right? It is not going to make any difference whether it is minus or plus, because square of negative number is always positive. So ultimately, I'm just writing this first. So half into 5 the whole square. Here it is plus 5, so I'm writing plus 5. If it were to be minus, I would have written minus. Why? Square of that negative is always positive. So whether the middle term has plus sign or minus sign, square will always be positive. In short, my last term is always going to be positive. My last term always is positive. Mind you, it cannot be negative. Right, children? Next, last term is half into coefficient of x the whole square, so half into 5 the whole square. So last term is 5 by 2 the whole square. If you want, you can write down this as 5 by 2 the whole square. Now when you say 5 by 2 the whole square, answer is going to be 25 by 4. Answer is 25 by 4. Once again, since we are into the very first sum, I will reiterate n number of times. First, shift the constant term on the RHS. Divide throughout by coefficient of x square. Over here, we are skipping it out. Why? Coefficient is 1. Find out the last term. Half into coefficient of x the whole square. Next, add the last term on both the sides of equation. So now when I got last term, I just need to add it on both the side of equation. So my LHS is adding 25 by 4 on both sides. So what will I get it? X square plus 5x plus 25 by 4. Here 2 plus 25 by 4. X square plus 5x plus 25 by 4. 2 plus 25 by 4. Right? Now, as I stated, on adding the last term, the LHS has to be a perfect square. It will be. So how to get that? How to get that? Here is the answer, children. Always write down first square. Always. Just follow the technique what sir says. It will be a perfect square. Next, always take the first term, which is the square term. Now, just tell yourself, x square is square of what? X. X square is square of what? X. 25 by 4 is square of what? 5 by 2. 25 by 4 is square of what? 5 by 2. Or you can say square root of 25 by 4 is what? 5 by 2. So I'll write down that. Next, I will always check the sign of the middle term. After following the first step, second step, check the sign of the middle term. It's not minus, mind you. The sign of the middle term over here is plus. I'll just write down plus. So it is nothing but x square plus 5x plus 25 by 4 is nothing but x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. The question arises, sir, what if here we would have got minus sign? I would have written minus sign. I would have written minus sign. As simple as that. Are you getting me? So x plus 5 by 2 the whole square is nothing but x square plus 5x plus 25 by 4. Those who want to cross check, just cross check at a plus b the whole square. You will get this as an answer. Next, we have to take an LCM. So LCM, I hope my children are very much aware. I have made this earlier also very clear that I'll go in this particular way. So 4 2s are 8 plus 25 by 4. That is 33 by 4. So it is x plus 5 by 2 the whole square is 33 by 4. So are we done with step number 4? Having said so, next step, step number 5. Always take square root. Always take square root. Taking square root. Taking square root. On both the sides, mind you. When I take square root on both the sides, what I'll get it as x plus 5 by 2. Why? On taking square root, square will go off. And here, I shall get under root of 33 by 4. Am I right? No, sir. In your instructions, you had mentioned both the signs. Students make mistake here. So I, with the purpose, had just written root 33 by 4. It is always plus or minus. It is always plus or minus, mind you children. Always both the signs. Next, again, x plus 5 by 2 is equals to plus or minus square root of 33. I don't have. So I'm just going to keep this as a numerator root 33. But square root of 4, we certainly have, which is 2. Square root of 33, as it is. Square root of 4 is 2. Right? Now, x plus 5 by 2 is plus root 33 by 2, or x plus 5 by 2 is minus root 33 by 2. Mind you, since we have two answers, plus or minus, so x plus 5 by 2 is plus root 33 by 2, or x plus 5 by 2 is minus root 33 by 2. One by one, we shall follow. If I shift this over here, will it become minus? And if I shift this over here, again it's going to become minus. So if you want, you can carry both the steps simultaneously. Either you go in this way, or I want my children to go in this way. X is equals to plus or minus root 33 by 2 plus 5 by 2 when goes over there becomes minus 5 by 2. That's it. So my solution set is going to be final answer. Solution set, my final answer will be plus root 33 minus 5 the whole by 2. That is x equals to. So let me write down once again, x is equals to, or x is equals to. Now it's time for minus root 33 minus 5 by 2. Since the denominator was same, I did not go for any LCM. Had the denominator being different, I certainly have to go with LCM. Are you getting me, children? Here, as simple as that. Right? Even you could have worked out in this way, answer would have been same. So either you work out plus 5 by 2 goes over there, again you are going to get this step, plus 5 by 2 goes over there, again you are going to get this step. So now my solution set is what I can write down. SS solution set is plus root 33 minus 5 by 2, comma, minus root 33 minus 5 by 2. Here is what my sum gets completed. Right? So we have simply followed the hierarchy, the order of steps involved. Let's take next question to understand. M square minus 2m equals to 2. Step number 1. Always shift the constant on the RHS. Sir, my constant is always, it's already there in this RHS. So we are going to skip that. Are you getting me, children? Whichever steps are by default there in the question, we have to skip it. But we are not supposed to go in any random order. We will follow every single sum in the same hierarchy, in the same order. If the steps are getting skipped out, fine, no problem, no problem. So step number 1, always take the constant on the RHS. By default in my question, constant is there in the RHS, so we skip. Step number 2, divide throughout by coefficient of m square. Now this time it's not going to be x square. My question has variable m. So divide throughout by coefficient of m square. Again, here the coefficient of m is 1. So it doesn't make any difference. So here I have to skip out even step number 2. What is step number 3? Step number 3 is find out the last term. So what is last term? Last term is found out by, half into coefficient of m this time, mind you, half into coefficient of m this time, the whole square. Half into coefficient of m this time, the whole square of m, the whole square. Next, LT is half into coefficient of m. So what is coefficient of m? It's minus 2, children. So it's minus 2, the whole square. You might say that, sir, this is getting cancelled. Should we? Certainly yes. So last term is equals to minus 1 square. Square of minus 1 is plus 1. So last term is plus 1. What next? Add the last term on both the sides. So adding last term, I'm just writing a bit shortcut, adding last term on both sides of equation, I'm writing shortcut, children, of equation. What will I get? M square minus 2m plus 1 and 2 plus 1. As I said, the moment I add the last term, LHS has to be a perfect square. And what is the technique I said? Always write down this first. If you want, you can write down the RHS also. Next, m square is square of what? M. 1 is square of what? 1. What is the sign of the middle term? Minus. So it is m minus 1 the whole square. Those who want to cross check a minus b the whole square. Eventually, you get this as an answer. What is the next step? Taking square root. Taking square root on both the sides. On taking square root on both the sides, answer is going to be m minus 1 is equals to, very much, there are many who have said plus or minus root 3 and not mere root 3. Plus or minus root 3. What next? M is equals to plus or minus root 3. Minus 1 when goes over there becomes plus 1. Now I can say m is equals to plus root 3 plus 1 or m is equals to minus root 3 plus 1. Plus root 3 plus 1 minus root 3 plus 1. What is my solution set? My solution set will be root 3 plus 1 comma minus root 3 plus 1. Right? As simple as that. So long as you follow the order, sums are simple.